The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Outside Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Often when a series moves into the back half of its season, it becomes an exercise in the inevitable. But with 3 drivers still having a legitimate chance at the crown, the only thing for certain is uncertainty. This afternoon, Apex Online Racing brings its Formula Renault 2.0 championship to Silverstone for round 8 of 12 on the calendar. And all the action from both the 40-minute opening feature and the 25-minute sprint that follows can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. From Old Blighty, welcome and hello to GSRC's Countdown to the Green. I'm Bill Soups. On helping me call the action is the Australian sage Richard Losper. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director Amjad Yaman, with camera locations created exclusively for GSRC by its in-house director of photography, Dougie Beard. If you were with us last time from Zolder, you witnessed a first for the series. Jeroen Kwekel and Uni Slavasi came into round 7 tied for the lead. Kwekel earned the pole and led the first half of the race until a pit penalty took the Earthquake out of contention. Slavasi inherited the lead and held it for 5 laps. Hugo Prado qualified 7th, but by lap 24, he had caught and passed Slavasi for the lead and the eventual win. Slavasi, Christian Tkac, and Gunnar Nienhuis fought it out for second, and when Nienhuis got together with Slavasi, Tkac cruised home in the runner-up position. Nienhuis finished 3rd, but that contact with Slavasi put Gunnar over the first incident cap level, and it cost him half of his points, but he appealed it and he got all those points back, and that will be reflected in the overlays we see later. 16 drivers finished on the lead lap of the feature, which put the Flying V Stephen Chambers on the pole for the sprint event. Chambers held it for the first 4 laps until turning it over to Adam Tierney, who started 6th. By lap 10, Prado had worked his way from 16th to get to the front. Despite the inverted field, in the end, the big names all found their way to the top. Jerome Kwekel took 3rd. Uni Slavasi grabbed 2nd, and Prado took the win. Prado became the first driver to claim both the feature and sprint win in a single event. So, who was the overall winner at Zolder? Well, with wins in both races, no surprise to see TNT's Prado at the top with a whopping 53 points. Then you had in second place Slavasi and Tkac tied there, well, virtually in a tie, only a point apart there. Gunnar Nienhuis also back there tied for 3rd, a point behind Slavasi, and Jeroen Kwekel only scored 33 points to round out the overlay. But right now, let's bring in my booth mate, Richard Losper. Richard, if Zolder is frantic like a jazz drum solo, I like to think of Silverstone as a fast-paced lullaby.
Yes, sir. And a very big welcome to all our viewers today. We are at Silverstone, and we're running these 2 races on the historic track, which is a favorite of mine. Bill, this track, the Silverstone track, of course, is a genuine GP Grand Prix track, and we have the mini Formula 1 cars here in the fabulous Renault Formula Renault 2 cars, so it's going to be a really good match. Now, Silverstone is not a simple track. It is a very technical track, and the guys will have to negotiate some historic but also some very, how can I put it, beautiful names they've got on this track. You've got Woodcote and Cops and Maggots and Chapel and the Hanger Straight, etc. Let's have a look at a lap guide and we will talk our viewers around this track.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman, the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Silverstone. Coming down to Cops, you have a lot of runoff on the outside, so you can get away with coming in too hot. But be wary, because the AstroTurf and curbs can bounce the car around, and you'll potentially damage the undertray. From there, you'll let the car drift to the right. Just make sure to keep your head up in case anyone is exiting the pits. Now comes the Maggots-Beckett sequence. Each corner gets progressively slower, and just like most S's, your line is critical. Try to set up for each successive corner so that ideally you can get to the power out of Beckett's and be flat out through Chapel. The biggest reason this is so important is we're now coming onto the Hangar Straight. You don't want to be vulnerable with a slow exit onto this section since the draft is already going to be a big help. Hold to the left for the best line into Stowe. It's going to be tricky in the low-slung Renault with its blind apex. Hopefully you kept from understeering off. And now, the historic layout takes us into a much faster rendition of Vale and Club. The rapid entry means settling the car can be a challenge, and you won't get much of a passing opportunity, but that's made up for by the fact that you'll get a good chance to try and overtake coming out of the corner. Abbey becomes its old flat-out kink, and with a much longer time on the gas, Bridge requires a lot more braking. That's not to say this is going to be a slow corner, but don't be surprised to see drivers have a go into here. Drivers' lines coming into Priory might vary, and that can sometimes cause wrecks, so keep your head on a swivel. From there, it's a short burst of Brooklands, and the turns get tighter and slower in this technical section of the track. Switch back quick and try to square off Luffield. This is a patience-trying corner, but you gotta be careful about costing yourself time on the exit. Once you get on the power, you won't be lifting through Woodcote all the way until the first turn. But as we cross the line, we've now finished a lap around Silverstone.
I'm Jed Yelman behind the wheel, Joe Peak behind the mic, taking us a lap around historic Silverstone. And now, let's take a lap around the points. Keep in mind these points reflect the one drop event that the rules allow for and are being seen for the first time anywhere right now on GSRC. Look at the driver championships. Now, remember that 6-point difference between Slovasi and Quakel that we saw in the overall results? Well, for Zolder, as I pointed out earlier, well, it shows up here as the unit is a half dozen marker lead over the Earthquake. Now, Prato's big score at Zolder has that TNT driver in the hunt for the championship to catch, and Nienhuis round out the overlay. Let's go to the team championships now. Quakel and teammate Randy Dan Brewer have Origin front row racing still out in front of Fusion, manned by Nienhuis and former champ Phil Reed. Doing it by himself is Prato, and his success at Zolder moved TNT around Evo Sonic, powered by Andy the Milkman Cowie and Jean-Francois Gaudin. The team on the move, though, continues to be Infinity Racing with the duo of Ty McLeod and Lawrence Suddenstrike DeReich. Richard, we reviewed the last round. We introduced the track on over the driver and team championships. Let's take a second now and talk about the series and race details.
Certainly, Bill.
And we lost Richard, so I think I'll do this here. He's probably pushing the wrong button again. I'll just keep talking until he comes back. There he comes. All right, Rich.
Okay, season 4, round number 8. I think I'm going to have to change this button. Number 8 of 12. So we're getting to the back end of the season. The drivers do have 2 events that they're allowed to drop. And of course that would be a combined feature and sprint event for a total number of points for a particular day. The car that they use is the fabulous Formula Renault 2. It has a 2-liter engine, 4-cylinder, 16 valve. It's naturally aspirated, which means it breathes air. There's not some other kind of gas forced through. 210 brake horsepower at 7,500, so plenty of power there. The setups are open. They have 40% fuel, which equals about 20 liters of fuel that go into the tank at the start of a race. The format is 2 races per event. There are 2 distinct winners, one in the feature event and one in the sprint event. The starts are standing. There's no time to heat up your tires, so you just got to take off from a standing start and be careful for the first couple of laps. No fast repairs as you would expect in a professionally run league. The incident cap is available. Well, the incident cap is implemented by the league managers. And yes, it does vary for the feature and sprint race. The weather, of course, is dynamic, as we have come to expect these days, and it carries over from a previous practice day. Bill?
Yeah, and let me just correct myself. Richard was right when he mentioned that there are 2 dropped events. What that really means is you get to drop the sprint and the featured race from one track, and then you get to do that again, sprint and feature from another track. I misspoke earlier when I was going over the points saying that there was only 1 dropped race. And then, of course, let's talk about the event format. If you've been following the series, you're real familiar with it, but if you're a newcomer, let's talk about it. Qualifying going on right now. It's 2-lap lone qualifying out there, so they're looking to put themselves on the grid, and it will be grid sequentially, and they're trying to grid up for the 40-minute feature. That's going to have 1 pit stop in it, a fairly large pit stop here. The grid will get sequentially like we talked about. Now, the incident caps. 13 incidents, and you lose half your points. We talked about Gunnar Nienhaus, almost lost half of his points. He finished, I think, second or third and almost lost him half, but he appealed it and said, look, this incident wasn't my fault. It was ghost contact, and he got that back, so that was good news for him. 17 X's, and you are disqualified. Then the points are the standard featured points. Then, after that, what they will do is invert the grid based on all the cars who finished on the lead lap. So if you are last car on the lead lap, you're going to be sitting on the pole for the sprint race, which is a 25-minute race. No stops on that one. There is another incident cap again. It's 13X, but this time you don't lose half your points. You get to 13X, and you are disqualified. And the points are slightly reduced, so you don't quite win as much. I believe it's like 35 for winning the feature. I should really know these better, and I think it's only 20 for winning the sprint race. So you get the idea. You don't quite score quite as much. Of course, if you can do what Hugo Prado did last week, Richard, and go back-to-back, win them, that was pretty impressive. Prado is notorious for going through the field, isn't he?
Yes, Hugo Prado did a fantastic job last week. And he's back out there again. I'm just looking for his name right there. He looks like he's in 8th place in the qualifiers at the moment.
Right where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think he's right up there.
He doesn't, doesn't like to start too close to the top. He likes to earn his wins. You know, we have also up there, sitting on the pole right now. It looks like this qualifying pretty much done. We won't quite bring it up yet, but Tkach is up there. All the big names are here today. Richard Silvassi, Quakel, Koch is here, Nolden. We talked about all those former champions. Silvassi's a former champ, Koch a former champ, Nolden a former champ. Phil Reed is in here again. So this series has a lot of history to it, and these guys, they really respect how long they've been racing. We call it season number 4 here, but there were 5 seasons in the Star Mazda or the Pro Mazda before this. So these guys have been racing a lot.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, let's not forget some of the other exciting drivers that we've called over the various races. 7 rounds so far. That's 14 races we've called in this series. And we're talking about guys like Adam Tierney, Ty McLeod, Rene Oosterkamp, Andy Cowie, and a bunch of Lawrence de Rijk, another one, Robert Plumley. All these drivers have given us some really, really good exciting racing moments to call.
Before we go to the grid, which we'll do here pretty soon, probably while qualifying still going on, let's quickly talk about this track. This should be a pretty good draft track, I would think. Richard?
Yes, the Hangar Straight has got plenty of length to it, and that is the big straight, of course, the Hangar Straight, which goes after you come out of Chapel, you head off down the Hangar Straight into Stowe Corner. And that's going to be a very good passing opportunity for all the drivers. Lots of runoff here as well, Bill. A really good track for this car, I would imagine. But you want to keep off those sausage curbs on the last corner there, Luffield, as our director, Amjad, found out.
Yes, he actually doing his testing for the track guide, he actually rolled the car all by himself, got it up on the sausage curve, and that Formula Renault flipped right over on him. Okay, I think with such a large field, I believe qualifying is done. We're still looking at Emery out there, but I think he's posted a time right now. Let's go ahead and bring it up. It might be a little different when they come in. Emery might cycle in somewhere. Richard, let's take them 2 at a time. On the front row, it's Christian Tkach and Juni Savasi outside of him. Rich?
And on row number 2, in 3rd place, Jeroen Quakel and Christian Koch.
Row 3 is made up of Kerry Nolden and Manuel Hauer.
And row 4, in 7th place, Jean-Francois Godin. And in 8th place, Christoph Holstein.
Rounding out the first overlay, Hugo Prado in 9th. Watch him work his way through the field. Former champ Phil Reed in 10th.
And waiting for the next graphic to come up, it is indeed row number 6, Gunnar Nienhuis in 11th position and Adam Tierney in 12th position.
Infinity driver Ty McLeod in there in 13th inside of Rene Oosterkamp.
And 15th place is Knut Martensen and Andy Cowie in 16th place. They make up row number 8.
9th row is Ricard Arnault, and outside of him is Lauren Sutton-Strike de Rijk.
And they're on the grid now, so we'll move along. 19th place, Robert Plumley. And 20th place, Evan Imre.
21st and 22nd, Sarah Dove and Yannick Nienhuis.
Row number 12, Luke White and Lee Robinson.
Stephen Chambers and Jarno Hertz in the 13th row.
Then we have Frederick Beckman and Alexander Waldo in row 14.
Sylvia Hurt and Victorio Saltalamacchia in row 15. And the last one on the grid in the 31st position, bringing it up, Mark Forte. Stephen Kagerer was in practice, but I'm not sure if he's actually out there. He would be the 32nd driver. Stephen, yes, he's out there. 32 drivers, 31 put in time, 32 on the grid. You can hear that the engine's starting to rev up right now as they start to harmonize. Keep an eye on Christian DeCatch. He's on the inside, driver right, on the pole. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and DeCatch leads them down into the first corner. Look on the outside of row 2 in that blue machine, making a move. That is Christian Koch. Koch gonna tuck in. Boy, he's very close. And now there's a battle for the lead. Here comes Silvassi. Side by side, he's trying to do it around the outside as he gets it done as they work through the S's. New leader is Silvassi. Oh, we got some trouble behind. We'll pick it up later.
And Phil Reed, look at Phil Reed, Bill. He's just making every corner and overtaking corner. He's already moved up 2 spots and having a look as they go down Hanger Straight now towards Stowe. There's a little bit of attack from Phil Reed going around the outside, trying to pass another one. Can he make it? I think he'll have the inside as they come into the historic portion of this course. Not done yet. Look at that, Bill.
I can just update you. They continue to go side by side. Andy Cowie, one of the handful of drivers that were involved in that first lap incident. It wasn't the big one, but there were a few involved. Silvassi still up in front to catch. Quakel looking to Dutch in there is Koch right now, running in 4th position. Nolden in 5th. 6th position is Hauer, Reed, Godin, and Prado. Round out your top 10. Look back there. Let's watch back there in 10th position right now. This is Oosterkamp. You can see them in the very back. Oosterkamp in a battle, and he actually gets around, moves up into 10th around Holstein.
And I was looking for Gunnar Nienhuis, and I see him way back there in 11th position. He was fast in the practice, but there we find him now in 11th position behind Phil Reed.
There we're looking at Nienhuis right there. They complete lap number 1. Silvassi gets around in the lead. Let's go to 2nd position as there's a battle right now. Oh, to catch, looking, fighting. Quakel trying to find a way around him. Quakel can see the Silvassi beginning to pull away. He can't sit behind to catch too long.
And there they go now onto the Hanger Straight. This is where the draft will kick in, Bill. And you will see now Jeroen Quakel should start pulling up to the rear of Christian to catch. He's made up significant ground. They take the right-hander into Stoke corner. And now look at Silvassi. Silvassi just making a getaway here, Bill.
Remember, these are open setups, so it's possible some of the drivers have less downforce, might be a little faster down those long straights than they would be through the sweeping corners. Silvassi out there right now with an 8/10 second lead. We'll mind that gap and see if DeCatch can close in on him. Looks like he's making up a little time through some of the technical sections as they come around this final corner now. Whoop, not final corner, sorry, they still have quite a ways to go. Look, Richard, let's go look at 9th position back there. This is Prado in a battle with Oosterkamp.
Yes, and the two of them side by side. They're going to the last corner there. And whoa, very wide is Prado with Oosterkamp giving him the hurry up. They come around the corner. They will get onto the front straight now. Oosterkamp just behind Prado. Prado battling away. I think he's having difficulty with cold tires still. Here comes Oosterkamp on his inside as they're going to turn number 1. He will take that position. Great pass.
Remember, Fredo, notorious for working his way through the field. Okay, are we going to go back? Am I getting the news? We're going to go back to the lead now, Director? Is that what I heard? Here we go. Oh, we're going to do our replays. Here we go. We can see the first lap now. The big problem happened. Keep an eye on Cowie. I believe he was caught up in this incident where they get together. And there were several drivers that were involved.
Oh, dear.
There you can see. We're going to go on board with Robinson, get an idea from his point of view. Oh, Canuck, we're going to go on board with Martinson. We'll see what Kmart. Okay, you can see that familiar blue and yellow machine of Kmart. And you can see that he is currently running in 31st position. That's where he is right now. That's not where he was at the time of the replay. There you go. You can see some of the drivers that were caught up in that. De Rijk also involved in that one as well. Martinson involved in it. Cowie we talked about. And I think Time McLeod also.
Now,
okay, back
Bill.
live. Go ahead, Rich.
Yep, and I'm having a look here. There's a little bit of a train with Jeroen Kwijkel in the lead of that train. Then you got Christian Koch, you got Kerry Nolden, and Manuel Hoyer in there as well. So good job from Manuel to be right up at the front end of the pack today.
Let's look at 7th position. This is Reed he's getting around now, stuck on the outside. That's the French-Canadian driver Godard. I'm sorry, I was a little bit behind. I was still on the replay. I apologize for that. Godard running in 8th position. Reed in 7th.
Yeah, long train all the way from 3rd place, probably.
It looked like Godard, the French-Canadian driver, had an issue.
Here comes the replay.
I think it was Reed that got loose, I think, in front of him.
It was Reed.
It was Phil Reed that got loose on, and Godard had nowhere to go. Reed got the car off on the grass, and it was those curbs, Richard, that got the car once he got out there.
I started to mention that bit there. You can see that he gets really loose, and of course the car behind him was Jean-Francois, and he had no place to go, as you said, and it all got a little bit anxious there. But looks like they're all back in the race again. I think Phil got going as well.
So Reed has taken a tow, yeah. Godard still running. 2 former champions getting together.
Well, that's a shame. Phil Reed was doing very well there. He was at that time in about 6th place. And now he's going to be shuffled all the way back to who knows where. Probably around 20th place. But let's get back to the front. I want to see what is this gap that Unisil Vasi is putting on these guys. Kwijkel now in 2nd place, chasing him down. The gap's not that big as I thought. Unisil Vasi will have his work cut out. Here comes Kwijkel. The earthquake is on the move.
Now we should point out, To Catch is back to 4th position. Remember, he was the guy that was running around Silvasi. To Catch Kwijkel got around him, and then Koch got around him as well. It wasn't a mistake, because this looks like it was a matter of being passed. So now To Catch back to 4th. And I think that's good, because I think Kwijkel is beginning to close the gap. It was about 0.8 of a second. Now it's down to about 7.5. So he's nibbling in on it.
That's right. And of course, 3rd place is not entirely established yet. Christian To Catch still has lots of opportunity to attack Christian Koch. But Kerry Nolden is coming up behind them as well. And I'm really impressed with Manuel Hoyer. He's a little way off the train, but just in front of him, you've got 3 cars very close to each other. But Manuel Hoyer hanging in there. He must love this track.
Let's go ahead and highlight another driver. 15th position real quick. This is Lee Robinson. We'll just follow this battle as long as we can until somebody breaks out in front. He's being challenged by Yannick Nienhuis, and also back there running in 17th. That's Stephen the Flying V Chambers back there. A nice little battle going on for 15th position. And just watching the whole thing, Sarah Dove back there in 18th, keeping an eye on that one. Looking at P3 now.
Battle with To Catch. Oh, a 3-way battle. You've got Nolden in there, To Catch in there, Koch in there, And a couple of side-by-side movements as they go through.
Oh, they touched!
Touch! And, whoa, that was to catch. Touched Coke in front of him, and then he got touched in turn by Nolden. So it looks like they're okay again, but let's have a look at that replay.
Yeah, it was actually to catch that got into the back of Nolden. Coke is that blue car that's way out in front. He wasn't involved in that. Then also getting, I think Manuel Hauer may have got a slowdown penalty as he is also way off the pace.
Yeah, we'll see it on the replay. And in fact, it's Nolden there involved. You're quite correct. And there's the touch. There's the touch from behind.
Yeah, the guy who got the worst of it was Manuel Hauer. When Tkach got sideways, Hauer basically T-boned him, and I think his car is really damaged now.
Oh, that's sad. That's really sad because everyone's passing him right now. Manuel Hauer starting to drop back, and he's doing so well. That's unfortunate.
So what that does, kind of what's happening is some of these lead drivers are taking themselves out little by little. So now again, you have Silvassi out in front. He's opened it up to over a second. Quake will not really be able to close the gap. In fact, losing distance. Coke in third, Nolden in fourth.
That's right, and bringing up the fifth position is Renault Ossekamp now. Renault doing a fantastic job. Then Christian Tkach has dropped back to sixth. And of course, yes, slowly but surely come the two that we have expected to start to push forward. And that's Hugo Preto and Gunnar Nienhaus.
So Hoyer's come into the pits after that, yeah. I'm not even sure if he is in his window. Well, maybe. Yeah, probably right at the front of the window with 29 to go. This would be very close. We'll keep an eye and see if he can do this with one step from here.
Yeah, they're only on lap 7. And like you said, 29 laps to go. So it's a 40-minute race, so it's a timed race. So, you know.
About a quarter of the way through. Let's go to 14th position again. This is your hard charger. This is Lee Robinson. He's being challenged right now on the inside by Yannick Nienhaus. I keep focusing on Robinson because he had a great race. He started in 24th position. He's up to 14th, going way off. A lot of runoff here at Silverstone. You see Nienhaus taking all of that one. And then this is the Flying V. Stephen Chambers behind him. Chambers trying to make a move. I think he's got the momentum. He's going to be on the outside. Stephen, that's not going to work. You're going to try to make it run. Get a little bit of momentum out there. Now you have the preferred spot if you want to stick your nose in. Nienhaus gives some room. Chambers doesn't take it. Good battle going on behind back there in 14th position. And remember, Litcher, it's all about finishing on the lead lap for that sprint race.
And the reason for that is, of course, there is a second race, a sprint race to come. And if you are the last car on the lead lap, as in fact at the moment Andy Cowie is, you get to move into the pole position because they invert the grid, but only for those cars on the lead lap.
Remember, Andy Cowie had that incident on the first lap, so I guess he's upset about that. But I guess if you want to find the golden lining around the dark cloud and the silver lining, I guess, would be he's going to, if he can hold this position, he'll be starting on the pole for the sprint race. So kind of a glass half full attitude. Whoop, looking at now Plumley has come in. We'll see if this is scheduled, see if he's had any incident. I'll do a quick review.
Meanwhile, just going back to the front, I'm just checking up on Juni Silvasti. He has really, at one point, Quakel was catching up, but Juni Silvasti has looked in his mirrors, seen Quakel, and said, "No, you don't." And he's been waving the goodbye flag for a little while now because he has moved away. But here comes Quakel again. Quakel not giving up at all, as you see Juni Silvasti going wide out of the last turn. Now they go down the front straight. This section of the course is so fast. These cars are doing over 200 kilometers per hour as they come to turn number 1. A right-hander. They're allowed to go pretty wide here, but you don't want to get too wide out of that turn number 1 because you can get caught on that grassy section, and that will possibly spin your car. They plenty of speed as they go through the S's here now and head through the corners, which will bring them onto the hanger straight. We have Quakel not just close enough to take advantage of the draft roll, But I want to say that Quakel and Uni Silvassi just showing why they are the top two drivers in the series at the moment.
Just to follow up on Plumley, as far as I could tell, it was a scheduled pit stop. We came in with about 28 minutes left to race, so I think he was in his window. He's still on the lead lap. Right now, we can look at Knut Martinsen. He's running in 30th position right now. Now, he has already made his pit stop if it wasn't actually in the window. He's just about to be lapped by the leader, so we'll see here. We can go ahead and look at maybe look off the back of Martinsen if we're able to do that. And then as I start stepping out of my lane and start calling for shots, that our director usually reads my mind on those things. But you can see here comes the leader behind him. You'll see Silvassi back there, and then the car behind him, sure enough, that's Quakel. And Quakel, Richard, is I think beginning to close in a bit. Let's see how quickly Silvassi can get around Martinsen.
Yeah, Quakel is giving it everything that he's got to try and catch Uni Silvassi. Uni, of course, very, very experienced and very good in this car. Just behind them, there's a battle starting to develop here. It's been slowly happening between Nolden and Koch. The gap is pretty steady now, so no battle just yet, but I get the feeling that Nolden is slowly but surely catching up. Then I want to go back to Gunnar Nienhaus and René Oostenkamp. Same thing there, and that is 5th and 6th position. So even though there are gaps there, I'm pretty sure by the end of the race we are going to see battles for this top 5 position. And Hugo Prato not that far away either, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Andy Cowie has pulled over and has taken a tow. We talked about him having a chance. I'm not sure if he made a mistake or he just saw that he was going to be actually, he had made a pit stop. He had just come out of the pits, so he must have had, maybe he made a mistake and the car wasn't to his liking. He has pulled it over, so we're not going to see Cowie on the pole for the sprint race. Martinsen has been lapped, but that may be okay because he's already made a stop if he's in his window. That means that the next car out there running on the lead lap is Forte.
And we had, just while he was speaking there, I had the cameras on Holstein and Gondar. There was an interesting battle going on here. They were side by side as we see Christoph Holstein closing up once again. And that car in front of him, that is Jean-Francois Godin. And as you can see, Jean-Francois was behind. He's now ahead. So this, I'm keeping an eye on this battle because they will start a new lap now. They're on lap number 10 as they come around the final hairpin corner and head off down towards turn number 1 again.
I just want to correct myself one more time. We don't need to go there, but the last car on the lead lap, Robert Plumley, who we think has already made a stop. So if that's the case, I mean, I know he's made a stop. I think he's in the window.
Yeah, and of course, Howers had to stop because of the problems that he had. Christian De Catch had an early stop as well. That looks pretty regulation to be Christian De Catch. He's only done 2.5 seconds, so that's what they normally do here. Few others have had longer stops, which means they had problems. Currently, looks as if that's about it. No one else has stopped at this stage.
Let's go ahead to 8th position. I don't know, Richard, while I was spanning through there, I might have missed you talked about this. This is a battle with Godin and Holstein, a battle for 8th. Watching the whole thing is a guy who's coming, Adam Tierney. He's up a couple spots, running back there at 10th, watching the whole thing. Now, the leader is Godin out in front as we ride on board looking out the back of Godin right now at Holstein. In front of Godin is Prado, who is about 2.5 seconds up. Remember, Prado is running in 7th. He started in 9th. He's one of the guys who works his way through the field really well. As we continue watching this battle, we'll see what Holstein can do. And we've had, Nienhaus has had him spun. He did it all by himself. Oh, by the way, it's the little brother, Yannick, not Gunnar. Very important. And he did it, I think, he did it on that right-hander coming through. Nobody collected him, though.
All right, let's take a look at Gunnar Nienhaus, the big brother, or maybe the little brother, I don't quite know. He is approaching a battle here with René Oostenkamp as they go through the S's. I love this part of the track here as well. And this right-hander is a lot tighter than it looks, folks, let me tell you. Now they go on to the hanger straight once again. This is where you'll have a bit of draft kick in for Gunnar. And he's looking up ahead at René Oostenkamp. Can he catch him and battle for that 5th position? I think he can, Bill.
Well, I certainly think he's close enough. I wonder maybe if he could just sit back there for a little while, save a little fuel, maybe try to get it done in the pits. That's that battle for 5th. That's a good battle. In fact, let's stay on it now. He's got a good run.
Right on him now. And here they go. That's really wide. So that is allowed, by the way. No problem going very wide out of that corner there. Now, can Gunnar catch Renault? I think he's catching him, Bill. And this section of the course is that a slower car in front of them? Yes, it is.
That's
so
Martinson.
The slower car gets out of the way very, very nicely. But even so, Gunnar Nierenhaus a lot closer than he was on the last lap.
Now here they come on this final corner. This is a brutal corner. When can you get the power down? That's what I can get it down now. I always getting it down too early and having to lift. Those guys know what they're doing. But I think right now, Richard, I think that Nierenhaus has a great run. Let's see if he ducks to the inside. I think he's going to get this done.
Yes, he does. And in fact, Camp does the right thing. Oh,
over and under.
Really wide. He might get a slowdown from that if he's not careful. Although, if you do it right, you can just get the 1X and you can continue on. But this battle is not over yet. Rene Oostenkamp has been overtaken into turn number 1, but he is still fighting there on Hanger Straight now. He's got the opportunity of closing up now as they head towards Stoke Corner. So let's see if he can fight back and try and take that position back that he just had to give up in turn 1.
iRacing is pretty forgiving in that turn 1 runoff. You can go out there, you're going to pick up incident points, but you're probably not going to get a slowdown penalty out there. Something I'd like to see them change, because you can really take advantage of some of the runoffs here at Silverstone. Go back up to the front now as they work their way. Let's go ahead and watch the leader again as they work their way. What driver is off? It looks like Steve Kagerer is off. He had a bad start. He started last, so it really doesn't matter. Let's watch the guys up front, though, as they work their way through this corner again.
Yeah, that's that final corner, and the gap has diminished quite a bit. Looks like Quakel is catching, but we've seen this before, and it looks like Uni Silvasti has a little bit of reserve, but he always seems to be able to put the pedal to the middle, or whatever they say, when he needs to.
Well, it's down to 0.85, and actually Quakel's starting to close in a little bit more. I think he's close enough now. If he can get a great run through these twisty sections here, as they go down this long straight, he should be in the tow. I think he is.
Yes, this is the Hanger Straight. There's a slower car up front there, which may or may not slow Uni Silvasti down a fraction as they go around Stoke Corner. This is such a fast corner. Always have to decide which gear to take, but here comes Jeroen Quakel. The gap is 0.8. It hasn't diminished any further than that. And here's that section where they go really wide. It's allowed. Now they go past into this left-hander here, which is flat out in these cars. Bill, these guys would be absolutely loving the way they can manhandle this car around this track.
It's got to be so refreshing after having their hands tied with the chicanes at Zolder to be able to let the car run now. Yeah. Now they have Plumley in front of them.
Now what have we got? Oh, it's 0.9. 1 second. It looks as if it's diminishing, but it's not really. It's a visual mirage that we're looking at.
Oh, I think he's got it now. By my time, he has him down to 7.7 seconds. Actually, I have something that I can do here. How about I give you it in meters? I can do that for you.
Okay, that's the slower car. I want to go and see who that slower car is up ahead, and it's Robert Plumley. So he's I say slower car. It's he's had a few problems, which is making him slower. Here comes Uni Silvasti on Robert Plumley going through the S's onto Hanger Straight. Uni, just look at the speed differential there, Bill. Uni goes by, flashes by him. Here comes Quakel. Quakel flashes by him as well. That may have just slowed Uni up a fraction. It's 0.6 of a second now, so he's definitely catching Bill.
You can tell the confidence that they have in Robert Plumley, especially Quakel, as he tucked in behind Plumley. Quakel getting a toe off of him, confident that Robert knew how to hold his line. That's one of the things that you can do here when you race with guys every week. You get to know them. Yeah, that gap is now down to 6 seconds. I think this might be decided in the pits as these guys are getting close to their window.
Yeah, lap number 15. In fact, the remaining time in this race is only just a bit over 16 minutes. And third and fourth place is still also up for grabs, Bill. There's not that big a gap between Christian Koch, currently holding third place, and Kerry Nolden in fourth place. And I think that gap is diminishing. That gap is also 0.8, now 0.9 of a second.
Leaders of all the cars who have pitted, I believe it's Stephen Chambers running in 19th right now. But I think that's going to change here as everyone's going to start to come in. The top 17 drivers have not come in. Stephen Chambers now running in 18th position.
Yeah, that's correct. And a whole bunch of cars in front of him, the top 17 cars, have not made their pit stop. Richie Arnaud now in the pits. He's heading into pit lane. Of course, we are very interested to see where our top 5 will land up. So Yuni Silvasti, Jeroen Kwekel back to 0.7, 0.6 of a second. He's catching, but it is just meters. You better give us that meter read out there, Bill.
We have Nienhouse. Look at 5th position. Nienhouse and Oosterkamp. This battle continues back here. Remember, we saw that Nienhouse got around him, and Oosterkamp did not give up the ghost. He's been hanging back there for 5th position.
Yeah, big battles going on everywhere, and even
Lee Robinson. Let's go there real quick. I think. Let's see if I'm up to date here. Yeah. Can you get that one, Director? Lee Robinson looked like he got. We're watching the battle. We don't want to get away from Oosterkamp right now with Nienhouse.
That's right. They're very close to each other at the moment. Rene Oosterkamp behind Nienhouse. They go through the hairpin and get onto the front section. Nienhouse into the pits. Oosterkamp continues.
And I think maybe he's been slowed up a little bit as he got in there.
Nolden in the pits as well. Gunnar and Nolden now in pit lane.
Silvasti has stayed out. Kwekel, Koch, Oosterkamp all staying out. Now, the reason I want to bring up this Robinson replay, it was just a self-spin, but he was having such a great race. He was our hard charger. I had been focusing on him the whole time. I don't think he made contact. The car just got loose and he spun it around, and that's going to cost him. He was having such a great run.
Yep. Side by side with another car there, and just lost it a little bit and spun it around all by himself. Jack Nienhouse in the pits as well now. They're all coming in, Bill.
Robinson runs with Kmart in the Fissy, Team Fissy. So not a good day for them as Martinson has had trouble as well. Well, Richard, if you go to the lead, I think this is going to be done in pit lane here. These guys are going to come in anytime. Kwekel is right there now.
Yeah, just having a look at Kwekel. Is that Silvasti in front of him? Yes, it is. He's right up there with Uni Silvasti. This is not what Uni would have liked. Into the pits. Both of them go.
They come in. I should report Nolden has got out in front of Nienhouse right now. So Nolden is the leader of all the cars who have pitted. That's going to change a little bit. Let's go ahead and actually focus on this pit stop because it could be a matter of who gets out first.
Bill, you read my mind. Let's not go away from this because this is part of the battle. They're right behind the other. Uni Silvasti was in first place. He is just ahead of them. Out they come.
Simultaneous.
Uni Silvasti. Kwekel gets a little bit of a better pull away from the line there. But the gap is maintained. Uni Silvasti still out in front as they go through the SS. Kwekel still chasing. What a fantastic two drivers these are.
Those tires smoked at the exact same time as if it was an Olympic swimming event and the gun went off. They just both hit the gas exactly the same, and basically now I think Kwekel can get this done. They're running in 6th position. If Kwekel, let's go ahead. Kwekel taking a peek inside. Is he going to do it? Yes, he's going to put a nose in.
No.
Oh, he backs out.
And you know that Uni Silvasti actually spent about 2/10 of a second more or longer in the pits than did Quaker. Here comes Quaker again now. They go through that section there. We go really wide and they'll hit into the left-hander, which is flat out. They will then be approaching the right-hander under the bridge. And Quaker very close. What can he do? Now they come to this very, very tight left-hander. Then they've got to brake hard for the hairpin. And watch out for the sausage curbs at the same time. And then they go through the latter part of the hairpin and start a new lap. They are on lap number 18. 11 minutes to go still in this race.
And Coke, I'm sorry to interrupt. Your leader has come in. Remember, Coke inherited the lead. So he's just pulling in right now. Here goes the two leaders go by. Silvassi goes by, and so does Quakel. Coke has now smoked it away. Is he going to get out in front of Prado? Oh, Prado has yet to make his pit. Prado is still in there, so let's see who's going to be next. Who could it be? Yeah. Would it be Nienhuis, I think? Osterkamp. Nolden, there we go. So that's who we have. So I think when it all settles down, I think it's going to be Koch in third, Nolden in fourth, Osterkamp in fifth, Nienhuis in sixth, Prado in seventh. But of course, Richard, the battle is up front.
This is indeed the battle here for your first place. And we are talking about Juni Silvassi and Jeroen Quakel. The gap, 0.7 of a second, Bill. Still the same as it was for much of the race that we watched, or well, much of the, say, the last 10 laps or so, Bill.
We look there, Silvassi now with about a half-second lead. Let's see, as we have still 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes to race. We'll try to focus through the field as much as we can, but we're going to give most of our attention to these guys up front here. Not only is this a battle for the feature race right now, it's also a battle between the 2 points leaders.
Bill, I've had a look through the top 10 and there are gaps between every single one of them. The closest is indeed our leaders with a 0.6 of a second. Jeroen Quakel is throwing everything that he has at Juni Silvassi, and with everything that he throws there, 0.6, 0.5 of a second, they go a little bit wide there, they take some of the dirt there, but Juni Silvassi has responded every single time and not allowing Quakel to catch right up, even though he is right there. I have a feeling that just one of the tiniest mistakes here will see the lead change, or in fact that gap get really large.
I'll tell you one guy that would want time to run a little bit faster, and that's the driver in 27th position right now. It's Kmart, Knut Martinsen. He's the last car on the lead lap, but he's got the leaders closing up on him. Hopefully Martinsen has a chance. Maybe he can get around Alexander Valdo here, put a little bit of cushion between him and the leaders. Now the leaders are coming, and they're not going to want to take much time with back markers right now. Any little lost momentum by Silvassi, I don't know how much patience he's going to show. If he has to lift to get around a back marker, that's going to open the door for Quakel, who is right there right now.
Absolutely, and of course these back markers will be seeing the blue flag. And that's a terrifying sight sometimes when you see this blue flag and you know the leaders are coming up on you. You may be in an awkward turn, you may be in a battle yourself. It could be disastrous for either the leaders or yourself. So they want to be careful. Overtaking a back marker is something that is not just done without thinking about it.
And I got a hunch that Martinsen, running in 27th position, is going to try to get Valdo here, and they could end up side by side right when the leaders get to him. This battle for 26, and again, remember, this is not just a battle for 26th position. They're trying their very best to stay on the lead lap.
That's correct, and they're battling for position as well, so they may well be side by side, and here come your leaders. You've got Juni Silvassi coming up at the breakneck speed, and they go through the right end. They'll be on hanger straight now. This is where the leaders will close up really quickly. So let's see what happens. I don't think they've got enough to catch them before the end of the straight. So these guys are going to be in the way when they come around. And look at those guys. They're battling. I know it's the 26th position, but they're battling very hard. And the leaders will have to be careful as they try to make the pass here.
Pretty darn good pace from those guys as well. Valdo and Martinsen are not like, they're really having a good run out there. So now, here we go. I think this could be, as they work through this final section here.
Yeah, and I think Quakel is the one that needs to... Oh!
Martinson pulls over.
That's some good work. That was... Whoa, he just gave up.
Well, the rules are a little bit different in the oh, their leader's in the sand, and it was the back mark, and he makes a little bit of contact with Quakel.
He did. They touched tires. So I don't think there was any damage done with that touch there. There was a left front tire of Silvasti touched the right rear tire of Quakel, but they're still battling, and they side by side, Bill. Now the time's running out. This is where the real battle is. We said it. If there's one mistake, they will be together, and now it is. Silvasti on the outside, trying to take back that first position. He's got a slight lead. They will go now through the S's. Silvasti in front of Quakel once again. Quakel won't be all that happy with that touch. He thought he had a clean pass. It was not to be, and now they're still battling. I'm so glad, Bill, as we see Quakel have a bobble and getting on the grass there. Now they go down Hanger Straight, and we're back to where we were the previous lap.
Now we're going to bring in, since that battle slowed down, we're going to bring in the quick replay. Watch Silvasti. He doesn't get into the back marker. The car just gets loose. In fact, we caught it there just a little bit late past there. We're going to back up one more time. You can see the little squiggle that Silvasti does, and he catches it. The unit does a great job of catching the car. Oh, this will be great. In car, you'll see the car get squiggly here. He catches it, and then it puts him out on the sand. Then when he comes back in, a little bit of contact between the two front runners. And then the battle went on.
That's right, and as we go back live now, that gap is now 1.4 seconds. So Silvasti, I'm just wondering whether Jeroen didn't get a little bit of damage there, because he seems to be dropping back just a fraction, or maybe he's just collecting himself as he gets a little bit loose into the hairpin there. Now they go to the right hand section of the hairpin. Silvasti was definitely under attack before, but now the gap has increased to 1.6 seconds. Silvasti pulling away. So I think Jeroen does have a small problem.
Yeah, but see, he's fallen back now. I think that's settled down.
But that was very close. I mean, that could have ended both of these guys' race right there, and we can be thankful that it did not. Yuri Silvasti now leading by 1.8 seconds. As they go back onto Hanger Straight once again. 4 minutes left in this race, Bill. Jeroen Quakel in second place. He won't be that unhappy with second place, but he had it for a moment there until he got touched on the rear end of his car. So he might have a little bit of a complaint there. We shall see what happens. I'm not listening to any of the chat at the moment, so I can't say. Christian Koch, let's have a look at fourth place and see if there's a battle there, because the first two places seem to be just about settled.
Well, we go through this a little bit. We look at fourth position there as we're looking at Kerry Nolden. He's got about a 2-second lead to Rene Oosterkamp running in fifth. Now, Oosterkamp has a chance maybe to get caught by Gunnar Nienhuis. We'll keep an eye on this. This is a battle for fifth. This has been going on the entire race. Right now, Oosterkamp is out in front of Gunnar. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go back one more spot. Not able to make his way through the field like he usually does is Hugo Prado running in seventh position.
Yeah, that's right. Hugo Prado just got stuck a little bit there. But he's in the top 10, and just to round that out, Jean-Francois Godin is in 8th place. Christoph Holstein, we saw some battling going on between those two. He's in 9th place, and Adam Tierney brings up the last of the top 10 runners.
And let's look at the car running in 25th position. Why do we care about Silvio Hurt? Because he's feeling no pain right now, as he's going to be sitting on the pole when we get to the sprint race that's going to come up here in a little bit of a while. Looks like he's going to be on the inside, outside of him. Oh, it's nice to see. Looks like Robert Plumley. Now, remember, we talked about Plumley. Let's go up. He's the guy who took that early pit stop. A car has stopped on the track. That's Lee Robinson. His day that was going so well continues to get worse. And oh my goodness, this was not just a little off. This was a big smack into the tire barriers, and it caught him. He's done. He was in a nice battle. He was in a battle with Hertz and Tkach and McLeod.
Looking at the replay, he just goes straight ahead instead of making the turn.
And real quickly, before we get to the end, let's go to 16th position. Hertz is running in 16th, but here's a guy, Ty McLeod in 17th. Look who's back there in 18th. Christian Tkach, remember, he qualified on the pole. I don't remember him having an issue. I remember him falling off the pace. I saw him in 4th, and then all of a sudden he is back, well back. Maybe he can come in and talk to us during the break when we do interviews and find out why he is so far back.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now, Bill, I'm going to do it again just quickly. Sarah Dove is up in 13th place today.
All right.
And look, I think that's her best finish so far. This has just got a great run going at the moment in 13th place. And that's all I'm going to say.
If you remember her, I think it was the Brands Hatch race where we put the camera on
Christian Koch off track. What's going on there?
Koch, he did a little 360. Now let's see if he's going to lose. He did. Is he going to lose positions? Yes.
Yes.
He loses it to Nolden. And he loses it to Osterkamp.
Yes, indeed, sir.
And he loses it to Nienhaus.
Yes. Things can go well at one moment, and you just need to make that mistake, Bill, and things go very, very quickly, especially on a fast track like this.
Here we look here with 14 seconds to go. Now, I don't think we're on the white flag lap yet. Got to make sure we don't miss the... We're going to stay on this because sometimes iRacing is slow to show us the white. Right now, our leader is working his way around that final corner, and I believe this is the finish right here. Winner of round number 8 is Uni Silvassi. Second place is going to go to Jeroen Kwekel. And this is in the Apex Online Racing League's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Nolden is going to get 3rd. Osterkamp in 4th. Nienhaus is going to get 5th. Koch, Richard, after that mistake, is going to come home in 6th. Hugo Prado not able to make up a lot of ground.
Yeah, that was that Uni Silvassi finished with exactly.
Let's go to 13th here while we're looking at this. Is a battle between Sarah Dove and the Flying V, Stephen Chambers. I think Sarah's going to get the best of them. We saw her launch her car at Brands Hatch when there was an iRacing glitch. She is now racing the she is now racing the European Space Agency on her car in honor of her ability to launch that machine. Chambers gets 14th. It may not have been Brands Hatch where that actually took place. I could have that wrong. Sebring is where that happened. There we go. Thank you, Director.
Well, that's the best finish that Sarah's had, and she'll be very happy with that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for her as well. Looks like they pretty much all finished up now.
Little battle. Let's go to 22nd. Sal Telemakia coming around. It looks like he's going to be able to hold off Robert Plumley. But the guy that the fans are cheering for right now is going to be Silvio Hurt if he can actually bring it around.
And he's been in this position before, I think.
Yeah, I think we have.
A couple of races ago, he was going to be on pole and was on pole position for the second race, but he lost like 20 positions in the first lap in that one. So let's see what happens this time.
Robert Plumley is a little different animal to have outside of row 1. He can put in a run. Let's go ahead. We're going to run down the entire results, and we'll do them 10 at a time. Okay, your winner is the unit Uni Silvassi. Jeroen Kwekel going to get 2nd. Kerry Nolden and Renee Osterkamp go 3rd and 4th. Gunnar Nienhaus rounds out your top 5. Christian Koch and Hugo Prado go 6th and 7th. Prado not able to make his traditional run through the field. Jean-Francois Godin in 8th. Christoph Holstein in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, a quiet run for Ricard Arnaud.
Yeah, Richard, fantastic job from him there. Going to 11th place now, we have Adam Tierney. Then in 12th place, it was Luke White. 13th place, Sarah Dove. Fantastic run from her. 14th place, Stephen Chambers. 15th place, Yannick Nienhaus. 16th place, Ty McLeod. We normally see him in battles. We didn't mention him today. He was not involved in battles. 17th place, Jano Hertz. 18th place, Christian Tkach. We really need to know what happened to him. 19th place, Frederick Beckman. And 20th place, Manuel Hoyer, who was up near the front early part of the race.
And let me point out that Luke White was our hard charger, up 11 positions, started 23, finishing in that 12th spot. Hitting Blackjack, Em and Emre, these guys are still on the lead lap, so we're going to see them up at the front of the sprint race. Victorio Saltalamacchia in 22nd. On the front row is going to be Robert Plumley on the outside of Silvio Hurt. Then we get to the guys who had trouble. One lap down, Knut Martinson and Alexander Valdo, Mark Forte, Lee Robinson. Lee had such a good run going on, and then it went south on him. Steve Kagerer started 32nd, finishing 13 laps down in 29th. And this to round it out, the Milkman, Andy Cowie, had problems early, 16 laps down. Former champion Phil Reed in 21st. And sudden strike, Lawrence de Rijk, going to round out the field, 24 laps down. He got caught up in that first lap incident. And what we're going to do is take a short break, and then we'll be back to do driver interviews. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Racing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. This is round number 8 from Silverstone. Boy, that's a lot to remember, but I got it all out. We just saw the featured race, and now we're going to talk to a few drivers who were involved in the race. Let's go ahead and talk with Kerry Nolden, who was running up front. Kerry Nolden, of course, finished third, was in a battle for a long time there with Christian Koch, but Koch had some issues. Kerry, you have a copy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish. It looks like I believe you started in third, if I'm looking at this right, and finished third. Oh, started fifth, so you picked up a couple spots. How'd the track feel?
Yeah, it was good, actually. A very good race, and conditions are good, so there's lots of grip on lap one, so we were able to just get into the swing of things. Wasn't quite as fast as top two, but I think third was definitely the maximum. Just grateful that Christian fell off at the end and kind of gifted it. A bit of a hollow third, but I think I'll take that.
Well, now you got those two guys who you couldn't catch. They're going to be behind you, and you have a bunch of traffic in front of you. It's like, look down here. It looks like cars on the lead lap. If I go through, it looks like 24. So you'll be starting 22nd position. He's just going to take it. What's the plan? Go fast and get away from the guys, or what are you going to do in the beginning?
survive, I think, that one first. Yeah, I've not had great luck so far with the reverse grids. I think I got tangled up a couple of weeks back as well at Sebring. Wasn't great. I've not had good history so far, but I mean, it's a tricky track to pass at without the chicanes. So there's a lot of draft going on, and there's going to be a huge train at the start. And if there's no accidents, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big accident coming up. But yeah, just survive the opening laps, just see where I am, and just kind of go from there. I know I've got good pace to get up near the front, but like I say, it's only a short amount of time, so we'll just try and do the best we can.
Well, before I let you go, let's talk about, since it is a kind of a more flowing layout, where are the best places to pass in this car?
Probably at the end of the hangar straight. That's probably the best chance. It's the best chance on the normal circuit as well, but yeah, it's tricky because I think bridge is probably a passing opportunity, but there's not much of a braking zone to really make it stick. Cops, turn 1, probably a good spot as well. I think just coming out of the hairpin is probably, it allows drivers to set themselves up for a pass. So there's a few spots. It's just the problem is there's a lot of guys who are very similar in pace, and therefore they're kind of just pulling each other along in the draft. So it's tough to make a pass work, but yeah, I've got a pass 23.
That's where we saw it mostly too, is if you can get a good exit out of that final corner, you get a run down the straight and into one. Looked like it was a good spot. Hey, well, good luck to you. Hey, I'm just good luck for the first 2 or 3 laps. Just keep it clean, and then you can start racing after that, okay?
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, Kerry Nolan, former champion, going to be starting in 22nd position. Okay, well, I think we have no other interviews, so let's go ahead. We're set up for the next race. Don't go far. You have time to get a quick snack. We'll be back for the 25-minute sprint race. It's going to be up in just a few minutes. See you in a while. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship from Silverstone. This is the second half of our doubleheader, the 25-minute sprint race. We just wrapped up the 40-minute feature. That saw the unit, Uni Silvassi, outdistance Jeroen Kwekel for the win, and those are your 2 points leaders as well. So right now, Silvassi able to stretch that gap a little bit farther. When you take into account the 2 drop races, he is still going to be the leader, and maybe by a little bit more. But the good news for the Earthquake is he'll be starting ahead of Kwekel in the 23rd spot ahead of Silvassi, as Kwekel will be starting 23rd, Silvassi in 24th, and our in-race interview, pre-race, between-race interviews there of Kerry Nolden starting ahead of them. Richard, I think this track lays out pretty good for avoiding the big incident. I think we're going to be okay.
Bill, that's what I was thinking, and welcome back, viewers. This is the second race in the event, the sprint race, 25 minutes of, we don't want to say that word, mayhem. We've seen that in various at various times in various races, but I think you're right, Bill. This track has got plenty of runoff. This track is fairly wide as well. There is no good reason for a pile-up in lap number 1. But having said that, we have seen other big tracks where we have seen the pile-ups, the big ones. I think, you know, we've had a tendency to see less of that in the last few races. So yeah. I've got hopes that we'll have a nice clean start.
Keep in mind of what they're trying to do here. They're trying to get, first of all, the tires are cold, and that doesn't make it very, very friendly for them to start with, although it feels pretty good. You know, we haven't talked much about the weather. Real quickly, let's give a quick weather update here. It's 70 degrees out there, and the track temperature is 78, so it's not really hot. I guess once the tires warm up, it should be good racing. Tires might be a little cold to start with, though. I think we're going to be okay. We've made the decision here in the booth from our director that if there is a big one opens up, we're going to go right to that right away, because it's going to involve some of the leaders, and we might want to go ahead and keep an eye on that. And we're seeing that maybe, have we lost? We're looking at some of the notes here. Nope, everything is good. I thought maybe we might have had trouble with Kerry Nolden. I saw, what scared me, I saw that he had disconnected from the server, but that was not from the iRacing server, just from the interview server, so that's good for him.
And let's just put those track temperature in European terms. So the weather is partly cloudy for the guys. It's 21 degrees Celsius in the air. And the track temp is 26 degrees only, so that's pretty cool. And we heard our interviewee mention that the grip was good on the track. There are some winds there at 14 kilometers per hour. That's about 10 miles an hour, so it's a light wind. The humidity is only 50%, which aids the grip as well. The higher the humidity, the less grip you have. Well, not necessarily the less grip you have, but the faster the cars are. So everything is good, and now the checkered flag is out for the warm-up build, so we should be getting our grid pretty soon.
And we'll do this 10 at a time, because we got to hustle through it. This time we don't have quite the luxury that we had in the first race where we get to it early. We got to hustle through with this big field. Keep in mind that the first 24 are the inverted number here as we go to the grid. Okay, on the pole, it's Silvio Hurt, Robert Plumley behind him. Third and fourth, Victoria Saltelemakia and Evan Emre. Manuel Hoyer and Frederick Beckman behind him. Christian Tkach, keep an eye on him in 7th position. He's going to be fast. Jarno Hertz, Ty McLeod, and Yannick Nienhaus round out the top 10. Rich?
11th place, Stephen Chambers, Sarah Dove in 12th place, Luke White 13, Adam Tierney 14, Richard Arnaud in 15, Christoph Holstein 16, Jean-Francois Godin 17, Hugo Preto 18, Christian Koch 19, and Gunnar Nienhaus 20 as we go to the big names.
Big 4 names at the back. Renee Osterkamp, Kerry Nolden, Jeroen Kwekel, and Uni Silvassi 24th through 24th. And then all the back markers, Martinson, Valdo, Robinson, Kager, Cowie, Reed, and De Rijk. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn. Can Silvio Hurt stay in front right now? Keep an eye on Plumley. Plumlee on the outside, trying to work his way around. I don't think he's going to get it done. He's going to see when he gets speed going around in the popcorn position, watching oh, there's a spin. There goes Plumlee taken out, but nobody else is gathered up. That's the good news. It's a sole Plumlee spin.
And Quakel's got ahead of Savasti pretty quick from the rear there, and he is ahead. There's a gaggle of
One
cars
more.
in front of these
Tkach
guys.
got in trouble. Oh, Christian Tkach got gathered up. I think it was Adam Tierney and Tkach got together.
Yeah, Plumlee's out. He's in the pits at the moment, and Beckman is in the pits as well. He's taken a tow there. So let's have a look at what's happening with our fast guys. How are they progressing? So I've got we're with the catch at the moment on a replay.
See who? I wish I could see who he got in with there. And we go back live.
Right, let's have a look at Silvasti and Quakel. Quakel's in front of Silvasti at the moment. Silvasti, they looks like everything has settled down. No really big one again, Bill. And now we can start racing as we go into lap number 2. The leaders, current leaders are already in lap 2. Here is Silvasti. Silvasti in a bad position, number 24. Lots of cars in front of him. He's got to have eyes in the front of his head, eyes in the back of his head. There's a spinner in front of him. He manages to get through that. And one on the right-hand side as well. It's just interesting times here, Bill.
Looks like it might have been, are we looking, it could have been Lawrence to right? Maybe, no, that was too far back. Let's see who it is. Is it Silvasti involved in it, or we're just riding on board with Silvasti?
No, we're riding with Silvasti. It was like a obstacle course. He had to just negotiate his way through cars left and right.
And we go back live.
Another one off there.
Arnaud has had an issue as well.
Yep,
Quakel has spun. Quakel was running in, I think, about 25th position. He got tagged. I don't want to misidentify, but I think it might have been Tierney who got him. Nope, I don't think it was. It was Gunnar Nienhaus. Our director called it. Nice call. Gunnar was right behind the car in front. That was Sarah Dove. Gunnar trying to get around Sarah Dove. I think Gunnar got into the back of Sarah and then got into Quakel.
Yeah, oh dear, there you go. Getting wide there. That's Quakel, one of our leaders.
Okay, now let's go up front. Your leader. He started in 5th position. Right now it's Manuel Hoyer. He's ahead of Emre. And we have more trouble here. Boy, it looks like Prado got into it with Jarno Hertz. These are big names. Oh no, Hertz got tagged by Yannick Nienhaus. This had nothing to do, oh poor Prado. Yannick Nienhaus got into the back of Hertz, turned Hertz around, and Prado ran, smack down, T-boned him. A lot of big names being taken out here. This is really going to shuffle up the standings. We're going to ride on board with Yannick. You can see him, he tags him, he turns him around. Yannick gets away clean. And Prado was the collateral damage as we are back live.
All right, going back live, let's start with René Ussenkamp. He's on the rear end of a train here. In front of him, we have Adam Tierney. In front of him, we've got Phil Reed. So that is, we talk about 12th and 13th, 14th position. Then we've got a big gaggle of cars here with Uni Silvasti at the rear end of this gaggle. In front of him, Kerry Nolden, one of the fast guys. Gunnar Nienhaus is in there as well, and Gunnar trying to make a move there on one of the slower cars, and that was who is that he's trying to overtake? They didn't quite make it happen. That's Christoph Holstein. Sorry, Christoph is not one of the slower drivers. He's trying to chase down Stephen Chambers, and Stephen trying to get to grips with Christian Koch. So Uni Silvasti has his hands full here trying to get past all these cars, Bill.
I hate to pull away from that battle, but we really got to focus on the leader because we haven't given him much run right now. So real quickly, Manuel Hoyer out in front in the lead. He started in 5th position. He's up to the front. Ty McLeod started 9th, is running 2nd. He just made his way around Evan Embry, started 4th, dropping back to 3rd. So those guys have the big gap. Then we get back to all the fast guys. Yannick Nienhuis, we had trouble in 4th. Luke White in 5th. The guy that we got to talk about, Christian Koch, running in 6th position, and he certainly has the speed to get there. But then we get back to what Richard was talking about. 7th position right now. Gunnar Nienhuis being challenged by Stephen Chambers. Also in the mix, trying to get in, that's Christian Holstein on the outside. Chambers in kind of that yellow car, stuck in the second in line of that big battle going on. Nienhuis out in front.
And behind them, it's Nolden and Silvasti. They
There
go
goes
down
Nolden.
here straight. Yeah, Nolden on the outside trying to make the pass. In front of him, trying to make the pass as well. Now Nienhuis, we've got Silvasti going to the outside of this group, and then he cuts back
your
into
lines,
the inside. They're very close. They touch wheels, and Silvasti has to keep his eyes and ears open, listening to the engine noise, listening and watching the cars in front of him. We've got Phil Reed trying to overtake from the outside. He's not going to make that happen. They go now to the left-hander there. Silvasti under attack, would you believe, from Phil Reed. Phil Reed wants that position. He's in trouble at the moment, but he keeps his wits about him. Phil Reed comes again, and he's trying to attack the other guy in front, but he's got to keep an eye on Phil Reed. Behind him, they come into the end of the hairpin here, going to the front stretch. Once again, 5 cars, nose to tail, Bill. Anything could happen.
Silvasti in that dark blue car. Let's go up ahead now as we see a pass. Here comes Nolden, has got around Holstein, so Nolden has places to go. Nolden up to 8th as we continue to look at that battle. So let's run it down. Nolden in 8th, Holstein in 9th. Holstein's going to give up that ghost. Silvasti has got around, but now here comes the pass. Chambers being challenged by Reed again. Chambers in the yellow machine, kind of that citrus flavored car. Reed back there in the kind of white and black with some green trim on it. Osterkamp behind them.
That's right. Silvasti managed to make the pass on Stephen Chambers. So Silvasti now chasing down Christoph Holstein. A little gap there between Holstein and Silvasti. And Nolden managed to make a getaway. He passed through that group just before Silvasti. So he's moved up to around 8th position at the moment, has Nolden. But he's got a little gap now before he can get to Gunnar Nienhuis. Gunnar in the orange car there. He's trying to chase down Christian Koch, who is trying to chase down the guys in the top 5. Here's a battle here for the 5th place between White and who's that in front of him?
This is Nienhuis, Yannick Nienhuis and Luke White here. But coming in behind them, making this a 3-car battle with the guys with places to go, and that's Christian Koch. So here we go. That's White in the middle, and obviously the white car. That seems apropos. Behind them in that dark blue machine is Koch. Then out in front is Nienhuis. Koch looking for somewhere to get around these guys because he's got a long way to go to get up to the leaders right now. He really can't waste too much time, and I think he's going to have a good run right now. Let's see if these guys take a defensive line. Sure enough, look at White. Well, now White starts to veer out. Let's see if Koch's going to dive it in there. He's not going to do it this time. He's going to wait. They're going to go through the S's, and they'll try to get him. No! White goes a little bit wide, and Koch takes advantage of it. Sneaks on in there. Boy, make a mistake, and pouncing on it is Koch.
And Koch was very close to the wheels of White there. He managed to make the pass. Now he's got Yannick Nienhuis in his sights. They go onto the hanger straight. He'll have the drive. He should be able to pull up to Yannick Nienhuis. So Nolden is the man on the move at the moment. Where is Silvasti? Not far behind, I believe.
Yeah, that would be Koch up there in the blue car running in 5th there. I guess you were talking though about Nolden. You got it. Nolden has got around. He's got Silvasti behind him.
That's the one I was thinking. I'm looking for Silvasti. So we got Silvasti on the rear of Nolden. Nolden trying to catch up with Gunnar Nienhuis. There's a car on
McLeod had a spin, put it in the grass. He was running in 7th position at the time. I think he's going to lose a position to Evan Emre. Oh, and actually he's going to lose a ton of positions. Yannick Nienhuis, Koch, and White. Actually, no, I'm sorry. McLeod was running up front. He's going to fall back into those positions. McLeod was running in 2nd position when he took that spin.
Yeah, and now he's way back just in front of Silvasti. Silvasti now has a good look at him as they come through the hairpin section of the course, finishing up on another lap. This is lap number 6. There's only 15 minutes left in this race. It goes by like a flash, Bill. So everyone has to really hurry to try and make up position. So right here, Silvasti.
Look at 3. Here we go. There's that blue car again, ducking to the inside, almost getting into the wing of Yannick Nienhuis is Christian Koch. Now, the white car, you know who that is? That's Luke White trying to get that spot back. Closing hard from the back is Gunnar Nienhuis. So there's a couple Nienhuises in there. Gunnar gets around White, and right now it's a little bit of brotherly love up there with Yannick in front of Gunnar. Two brothers trying to chase Koch.
And behind them, Silverstone and Ty McLeod in a big battle. Silverstone pulling up alongside McLeod now as they go up the hanger straight. Silverstone's got the advantage. He will make the pass at this point, but it was side-by-side stuff for most of that lap there. Silverstone now ahead of McLeod. McLeod not giving up yet, but I think it's done. So let's go back to that battle just ahead of them.
Sixth spot real quick. This is Nolan. He got around White. So now Nolan has nobody in front of him except the Nienhuis brothers right now. That's Yannick and Gunnar. We'll keep an eye on that. I hope Mom's watching.
Yep, Gunnar is chasing down brother Yannick as you mentioned. And Yannick is trying to... Gunnar passes brother Yannick. I think there was a little bit of brotherly love exposed there. Gave up the position pretty easily, did Yannick. So Gunnar moves past him into third position, I want to say. And in front of him now, Christian Koch. And Koch is in third position, sorry. So the two leaders, Manuel Hoyer still out in front, Bill, with Evan Emre in second place.
Emre is the buffer. Hoyer was very disappointed to see McLeod spin out because that was one car between him and the hungry Tigers that are coming. Right now, Hoyer has almost a 5-second lead over Emre, who has about a 3.3-second lead over Koch. But Koch is coming. It's Koch. Gunnar Nienhuis running third and fourth and in a hurry. Let's go back to Yannick Nienhuis right now. Kerry Nolan trying to make his way around. He's going to try to do it on the high side. And he gets it done as Yannick surrenders the position. So moving up to fifth is Kerry. Next up, Luke White doing a great job hanging in there. But Luke coming up behind you is the unit.
Yeah, but the unit is 12 minutes left. Just under 12 minutes left here now. Let's have a look. Silverstone, our championship leader, he is a good, oh my goodness, he's a good 12-13 seconds off the leader.
The good news for the unit is the guy he's battling with is Jeroen Quakel. Now remember, Quakel has been here a lot. Quakel has a great drop rate, so it's not going to cost him that much in the points as he has that advantage over the unit. So he'll be able to go ahead and use some of his drop insurance. But right now, the guy who doesn't care anything about drop insurance is Manuel Hoyer, out there with a 5.2-second lead over second place.
And Luke White says to Silverstone, you want my position, you're going to have to fight me for it. As he goes defensive, they go down the front straight there. Luke White in front of Silverstone. They get it pretty close there, but Uni just backs off a little bit and allows Luke White to go ahead of him. I think Uni's playing it safe here, knowing that Jeroen Quakel is out of this race, Bill.
Quick check-in on 15th position. We saw Sarah Dove have a nice run right now. She's being challenged by Knut Martinson. We'll just watch this for a second if he can get this done. Spin right ahead of him there. Oh, it looks like McLeod was involved in it, and so was Holstein.
And we'll get that on replay. Christoph Holstein on the side there. Let's get the replay.
And it looks like Holstein just...
Stuffed it in there.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Tierney checked up a little bit because he was getting up onto the back of Osterkamp, and he didn't want to get into that, so I think that just may be a little bit of the accordion effect.
Yeah. It looks like the car slowed up in front of him, and he was coming up at a great rate of knots there. I apologize if I said he shoved it in there when it really didn't have anywhere to go.
It was McLeod. I think McLeod, I misidentified him as Tierney. I think McLeod was worried about getting into the back of Osterkamp.
3 wide here with Silverstone and Gunnar Nienhuis, I think that was.
Reed is off.
Yes, Reed it was, Reed. Let's get that on the replay.
This was Reed trying to make a move. White took a wheel right turn. Reed tried to duck in on the inside of Silverstone. The car got loose. Reed got his right rear tire right into the side pod of Silverstone. I think the unit's going to get away clean, even though it was a tough hit.
Yeah, it looked like quite a big hit there on the unit. I'm thinking these cars are a little stronger than we think they are. Silverstone keeps going. He may have some damage. But at this point in time, Luke White he's still in front of him. Luke White he was battling with at the time.
Yeah, that was Reed that got loose and got this, just like give him a good notch, but I think he hit him in the one spot where the car could take the punch. Hoyer out in front by 5.7 seconds. Manuel Hoyer, what a great race from him.
Yeah, fantastic race. And he was, remember, if you remember correctly, was doing very well in the early stages of the first race, of the feature race as well. And then he had some trouble. But going back to Silverstone, they got that hit right on the side pod. That's probably the strongest part of the car, so I think he'll be okay.
Well, Rene Oosterkamp trying to run him down. Meanwhile, I'm going to give you the gap for you guys scoring at home. It's 1.4 seconds. This is from Emre back to Koch, who's really coming. Koch is on a roll, and he is bringing along with him Gunnar Nienhuis.
Yeah, that's right. Christian Koch is in third place at the moment. Our leader, of course, Manuel Hoyer, doing a fantastic job. And bear in mind, there's only about 8.5 minutes left. Evan Emre, he's the chaser, but he's 5.8 seconds back. But here comes Koch, 1.3 seconds. There's enough time, Bill, for Koch to possibly catch Emre, and a battle for second place will ensue.
Emre right now, the membrane separating Hoyer from the guys that are coming of Koch and Nienhuis and Nolden. We'll see how well Emre can hold these guys back. I think he may be a matter of osmosis here, as these guys are going to get by Emre pretty quick, and then they'll see if they can run down Hoyer. But I think Hoyer is so far in front. I think unless he makes a mistake, I think Hoyer should be able to get this one.
And remember that Gunnar Nienhuis is only 0.4 back from Christian Koch. So there's a possible battle that could take place there as well. So three-way battle possibly for that second place. And I think it's going to happen. 7 minutes left, plenty of time for these guys to get into it. And I think we're looking for an exciting finish here. But Manuel Hoyer out in front, 6.6 seconds now, Bill. Unless he makes a mistake, he's got this.
There we look at Emre now. Hold it off.
Here they come. They go around the right-hand part of the hairpin onto the front straight. Now, can Christian Koch catch Emre? Emre is battling for second place. He's got Christian Koch behind him. He's saying to himself, I can do this. I can do this. 7 minutes left. I can do this. But here they come. Christian Koch, Gunnar Nienhuis, they are not going to give him any leeway if they catch him. And Koch catching, believe it. They go through the S's now. Koch goes a little wide through the S's there. Onto the hanger straight. Here the gap will reduce significantly. We've got Emre going defensive, but Koch goes to the outside. Gunnar Nienhuis having a look from the rear of this as well. Christian Koch currently has it, but the battle is on for that second place. Koch has it at the moment.
And what that did was that ruined Emre's corner exit speed, and that allowed Nienhuis to get right back up there. How about Koch doing a good job of making that thing stick from around the outside? Now here comes Nienhuis. He's got to run on Emre. Just keep it straight. Keep it straight, Evan. Don't weave back and forth, boy. Nienhuis working that car, trying to get as close as he can. I think he's going to get this done. Let's see if he dives it into the corner. He does. Emre with a great drive off from the momentum, and that's going to allow... Oh, and they touched. What happened? Nolden got in there and said, I want to be part of this as well. Gunnar Nienhuis gets collected and gets punted off, and it means his brother Yannick is back in front of big brother.
Oh, that was tragic for Nienhuis. Gunnar, I'm talking about.
As we see that on replay, and looks like the wing is damaged up there, so Emre still holding off Nolden. Now, Koch has got around Emre and has left him behind. I don't know if there's enough time. 5 minutes and 24 seconds and a gap of just under 7 seconds between Hoyer and Koch. I don't know if Koch can do it unless he can really get on a roll and fly.
Well, Nolden on Emre at the moment, and I want to tell you they're coming onto a hanger straight once again. Now, we have 5 minutes left in this race. Still plenty of time. Nolden coming in there. Nolden, I felt, really put it to Gunnar Niehaus there. Now he goes to the inside of Emre. Emre battling away, defending that position. And Nolden comes up to him. Nolden looking for a way around. Imre says, I won't give it to you. And in front of Imre, of course, there's Christian Koch, who's made the pass previously. And he is now fighting off Kerry Nolden as well. So Imre doing his very best to stay on the podium.
I can report that in 6th position, Yudi Savasi got around Yannick Niehaus. So he's up to 6. That car doesn't look to be too damaged after getting punched in the side pod. Gunnar now running in 5th, just ahead of Silvasi. The real battle is up here. Continues to be Emre and Nolden. Evan Emre doing a great job. Yeah, sure, he let Koch get by him, but he is fending off Nolden right now. Look at the defensive line that Emre takes here, Richard.
You can't get more defensive than that. He's very close to the barriers on the right-hand side. Nolden goes to the outside, shows his nose in there. Emre says, I got you covered. Now Nolden comes again. They go towards the S's. Nolden on the inside this time as they go into the first part of the S's. And Nolden a little bit wide.
Oh, he's off!
Nolden's wide. Nolden had to brake hard to stay on it. And to stay alive, I should say, and has lost, well, hasn't lost the position, he's overtaken.
Yeah, he's about to.
Nothing.
Here comes Gunnar.
Go ahead, Bill.
This is good.
Oh my God. The
Trip through the British Alfalfa.
Wow.
They caught back, and there goes Gunnar off into the beach.
Have a look at that. Unbelievable driving here from these guys.
And did Gunnar disappear from your screen, or I think he incident capped out, I believe what happened there.
Yes, PQ was his name, unfortunately, by the looks of things.
He only get 13 in these sprint races, and with all the action that he was in.
Yeah, every one of those touches would have cost him, Bill, and that's the name of the game. And I tell you what, here comes Silvasti. In front of Silvasti now we have Kerry Nolden. In front of Kerry Nolden, the fantastic run by Evan Emre continues. 2 minutes, 25 seconds left on the clock. Imre in second place. No, sorry, Imre in third place. They're battling for that last podium spot because Christian Koch has gone by and disappeared into the distance.
Emre is fighting him off, and even when they go by him, he doesn't give up. He holding him off. He held off Koch, and now he's got Nolden and Silvasi.
But how about Manuel Hoyer? He's 6.2 seconds ahead. Let's get the camera on Manuel. Let's give him some screen time. He's done such a great job here today. Got some bad luck in the feature race, but here he is at the moment leading this race and leading it fantastically well, actually.
Started 5th. Avoided the trouble with Plumley on the first lap that was up on the lead. Made his way to the lead and was able to hold it. Okay, let's go back to third now, Richard. You're looking at this, and here we go.
Emre still managing to hold off Kerry Nolden. Nolden under attack by Yuni Silvasti at the moment. Nolden playing a little bit of defense there. Meanwhile, he's trying to take Evan Emre. This is a three-way battle, and it is for the last podium spot. Who would you be betting on at this point in time with about 1 minute to go? There's going to be a white flag lap for Hoyer. In fact, Hoyer will be on the white flag lap at the moment, Bill.
Yeah, it's possible. This may be the only time. This is the last time that Emre will need to defend into corner 1, I think, because next time they go into corner 1, the race will be over. Evan, you can't defend them all. They're going to go on the right. They're trying to go around both sides of you there. He's looking, and he's able to keep that line. Now I think it's a matter of whether Nolden and Silvasi slow each other down. They have a good run. Here they come. But Emre has the outside as they work through here. Emre's able to get to that spot. Great job from Evan.
Yes, and he's holding them out at the moment now. Here's the critical section of the course. This is the hanger straight where the draft kicks in. Emre defensive. Behind him, Nolden. Behind Nolden, Yuni Silvasti. Nolan grabs the inside. Emre is forced to give up that section of the track there, but Emre Wise is on the inside for the next corner. That's the historic part of this course. Emre has not got the position at this point in time. Nolan has it, looking for a way around both of them. Yuni Silvasti, I don't think he's close enough. He might be close enough to Emre. Bill, this is it. Call the last part.
As we do that, I'm keeping an eye on the leader, which we're going to have to go to now as our leader, Manuel Hoyer, works his way through the hairpin. He goes around here. He's got himself a 4.8 second lead on Christian Koch. Koch was able to close in, but he ran out of time. The winner of the round 8 sprint race goes to Manuel Hoyer. Second place goes to Koch. Let's go back to Emre now. Emre is going to finish in 4th position. Silvasi, let's know Silvasi got him, huh?
Yeah, Silvasi got him, and indeed Kerry Nolden got him as well. But he finishes off in 5th place after a very, very strong and valiant battle to stay in that 3rd position.
Osterkamp, Nienhaus, White, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Adam Tierney, Phil Reed rounds out your top 10. Oh my goodness, we'll stay here till all the cars finish up their lead lap. We'll see if we can see another battle that might be farther back. Nope, looks like everybody coming across now. 17th. Here we go. We're looking at this. This is Holstein in a battle with Kager. Holstein coming across. Looks like he has the momentum. Is Kager going to be able to get in the draft? Get him before the start finish line? I don't think so. Gives 17th position to Holstein. Kager gets 18th. Silvio Hurt, who started on the poles, going to be coming in 19th. Still on the lead lap. And Lawrence Strike to Reich in 20th. Last car on the lead lap. You're watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Racing League, and we're going to go to break right now. We'll be back for run down the entire field, driver interviews, and close-up shot. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship Round 8 from Silverstone. We're going to run up the sprint race here. I'm smiling after hearing Stephen Kager come on, and I was listening to some of the talk. He described this race as a jousting contest, and that's kind of what it was. No real big one to speak of, but a lot of two-car incidents, so some real, lot of elbows being thrown, probably going to be some hot tempers. But you know what? When you invert the field, that's kind of what you get. I don't want to put the blame on the drivers or on the series. It's just the nature of the beast. And honestly, it's pretty darn entertaining. So let's run down your field right now. Your winner, oh man, Manuel Hoyer. What a great run from him. Started 5th, got to the lead, and had a nice, easy race. Congratulations as he picks up his first checkered flag of the season. Christian Koch, Kerry Nolden, and Uni Silvassi did a good job coming from 19th, 22nd, and 24th to finish 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Evan Emery, maybe the star of the race, did his best to hold back the tide, and in the end, he finishes up in 5th position. Renee Osterkamp, Yannick Nienhaus, Luke White, another good run from him, White in 8th there. Adam Tierney and Phil Reed round out your top 10. Rich?
And we go to 11th place now, and 11th place was Richie Arnold, finished in 11th place. How about Sarah Dove finishing in 12th place after a 13th place finish in the previous race? So this is definitely her best event. Knut Martensen in 13th place, Andy Cowie 14th, Jean-Francois Godin, miserable races for him today in 15th place here, 16th place Stephen Chambers, 17th place Christoph Holstein, 18th place Stephen Kagerer, 19th place the pole sitter for this race Silvio Hurt, and 20th place, Lawrence de Rijk, not having a good time either.
Then we get into the blackjack spot, Gunnar Nienhaus. Now, Gunnar, remember, lost half of his points at the last race, but was able to appeal and got those back. Today, he got DQ'd in the sprint race when he got to 13 incidences. I don't think he's going to be able to get these back. We'll see. He finishes in 21st position, 3 laps down. Alexander Valdo, Ty McLeod, 7 laps down. He got caught in some early problems. Victorio Saltalamacchia, Jeroen Quakel. The bad news for Jeroen is he had a horrible day today. The good news is he does have a nice drop insurance in his pocket that he'll be able probably to cash in after this race. Jarno Hertz, Christian to catch. Man, he 27th here and a bad first race as well. Not a good race for that driver. Lee Robinson, 28th position. Hugo Prado wasn't able to do his magic that we saw last time, finishing in 29th. Frederick Breckman and Robert Sugar Plumley rounding out the field of 31. Okay, it's interview time, and now they're coming in. Richard, let's see who we have here. Who would you like to talk to?
Let's talk first of all to Evan Emre.
Oh, that's a great one. Here we go. Let's bring Evan in. Richard, go ahead. 5th place driver, Evan Emre.
Evan Emre, congratulations on a 5th place today. And let me say that you were on the podium in 3rd place for a lot of the race. And then Kerry Nolden and Uni Silvasti came after you and got you right at the end there. Tell us a little bit about your defense there. The battle.
Well, I had created a gap at the start of the race, and I was hoping I wouldn't see the fast guys on my relative for a long time. But in the closing stages of the race, we had Gunnar Nienhaus, we had his brother, we had Kerry, and I didn't even know Junie was anywhere around me, but he appeared out of nowhere. Last 3 or 4 laps were hectic. Gunnar and Kerry got into it, so that gave me a bit of a gap again, even though they were right up my bum. And they eventually caught me back up. Kerry and Uni, unfortunately, got me on the final lap, which is devastating because I've still not had a podium. And that was my 101st race in this league. So I could have got a podium on the milestone race, but unfortunately not.
Hey, don't be disappointed, my friend. You did a fantastic job holding them out for a lot of laps before they finally got you there. But nothing to be ashamed of. And how entertaining it was. You will see when you watch the replay of the broadcast. You were right in it all the way. So a great, entertaining race from you, my friend. And don't worry, there's always next time. Just let me ask you this question. This inverse grid, look, it's a lot of fun for us as the broadcaster. It's a lot of fun to call. It makes for some pretty exciting races. But you're one of the guys that are right involved with it. What do you think of the inversion of the drivers for the second race?
The inversion is great fun. It gives the slower drivers an opportunity to have their glory, have their time on the broadcast with you guys. And we previously had 1 hour races, but now we've got 40 minutes and 25 minutes. So luckily I had that sprint race because I damaged my car in the first race. So the second race has made up for the disaster of the first race, but it was good racing and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, we are asking everybody just so that we can understand what the drivers think about these various situations that they drive in. Thank you, Evan, for talking to us. Congratulations on a 5th place. Could have been 3rd, but that's racing.
Thank you.
Back to you, Bill.
Good race today, and really the star of the sprint race put on the entertaining run. I'm going to take a chance here to talk to the Frenchman. Going and talk to Richard Arnault. Congratulations, 10th place in the feature race, 11th place in the sprint race. Pretty good day for you, Richard.
Yes, it is pretty good race in the main race. The objective was maybe top 12 in quali, but the field is so close this year. 21 driver in 1 second, if I remember correctly. And in race 2, I make a mistakes on lap 2, and I've got a spin, as usual in one race since the beginning of the season. But managed to go in top 11, so it's quite a nice weekend after a struggle in Zolder.
Yeah, that's what Richard and I were talking. It must have been refreshing after being handcuffed at Zolder with all those chicanes to let that little Renault let it loose and let it run out here at Silverstone, huh?
Yes. Yeah. That's quite a different circuit as Silverstone, but I found something in the setup was wrong in Zolder on the brake, on the reposition of the brake. So now it's quite easier to drive, and so improve the race pace, and that's it.
Do you do the setups by yourself, or do you get help from your teammates? How does that work?
We work as team. We are more 5, I think. Yes, I remember correctly. We are 5 in FR 2.0. And during the week, we work on the setup of which aero is the best or which brake is the best, etc.
Well, you put on a nice race today. Congratulations, good, consistent. We'll get you up in the points. Congratulations on a good performance today.
Thank you, guys.
Richard Arnault, 10th and 11th in the 2 races. Now we're going to get to talk to our race winner. Let's see if we can bring him in. Was he there?
Manuel Hoyer. Yes, he's there. Hoyer 91.
Oh, we got it. Here we go. We'll bring him right down. Here we go. Richard, you can talk to our sprint winner.
Manuel Hoyer, got a copy?
Yes.
Manuel, congratulations. Great job today, my friend. You were right up there in the first race. We mentioned your name, that you were right up in the top 10 or top 5 to start with. Then your disaster struck in the first race, but you came out in the second race, started from 5th place, got into 1st place, and nobody could catch you. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
it was. Yes, it was a really hard race. I think both races were very hard because first race place 6, I think I was after the start, and to get up with the fast guys in front of me. To keep it close, it was really difficult, and yes, then was the accident with Mr. Takash, and yes, it happened, and I thought I should do the best so far. But yes, the second race was also then my satisfaction.
Well, you certainly did a good job right there. Obviously, this track, you really like this track. It allowed you to, use the Renault very effectively. So, congratulations, my friend. It is really nice to see the different winners that we're getting at the different tracks in this series.
Yes, I love how you say it. I love this track, and I got a lot of help from my teammate René Osterkamp, who shared me his setup, and so I have had 1 week to learn to drive it correct. And yes, I'm very happy with the result, and I hope I can keep it on for the next races.
Well, we hope so too. So once again, congratulations on a win there in the sprint race. Thank you for talking to us. Bill, that was our winner in the sprint race today, Manuel Hoyer. Back to you.
And we're going to wrap up our show today with interviewing Sarah Dove, who had a good performance in the feature. She started 21st, made up 8 spots, finishing in 13th. And then when she came back into the sprint race, started 12th, held her own there, brought it home at 12th, 13th and 12th overall. Sarah, you got to be happy with this race.
I am really, really happy. I did way better than I expected I would.
Home track.
Yeah. First of all, we like the paint job, the European Space Agency there. At least you didn't launch your car today. That was good.
Yeah. It would have been funny, but it wouldn't have been good for my result.
No.
So.
Why do you think you did better here? Is this track you feel better to you? There's a little more flowing than the other stuff?
I think I just kind of got this track. I really like driving around it, so if I like it, then I'll probably be faster. But I don't know, I just put in consistent laps more than usual and managed to get 13th and 12th, which is really, really good.
So are you racing on a team, or are you paired up with somebody?
My teammate is one of the reserves. He's Darren Potter, but he's only been in the Brands Hatch race.
The Wand, yeah. Well, you got to get him in here. We were just talking to some of the other drivers, the help they get in setups and stuff. Does anybody help you with setups?
Usually I sort of go to the forums and find one of the setups that somebody's posted, and then sort of play around a little bit with it.
There's a smart driver. That's how you do it. Well, man, congratulations on the race today. You are coming along. I think we got a top 10 in your future soon.
I hope so. Probably in a sprint race, but I hope so.
Well, congratulations. A nice race from you. Good job. Congratulations, and we'll see you down the road. Sarah Dove, your good performance from her. That's going to wrap it up for us, Richard. Boy, that was sure fun. You know, we talk about the inverse field. I know there's a lot of guys that maybe not too crazy about it. I know that the front runners, it makes it rougher on them, but it puts on a good show.
Certainly does. We're not complaining at all.
All right, let's go ahead and thank everybody at Apex Online Racing for organizing the Formula Renault 2.0 League and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying, GSRC. Thanks to the company's equipment or software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that you've heard on today's broadcast during the breaks is Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde. You're probably hearing some right now. Go to the screen to see how to contact them and download some of their digital music. Hey, the AOR returns next week, February 10th, for round 9 from, I love this track. I don't think Richard does. I love Laguna Seca and the Corkscrew. Should be fun in these cars. GSRC will be there. We'll be there to bring you all the action. I'm going to make Richard come along too. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times of upcoming broadcasts, or maybe just to arrange GSRC to broadcast a race of your own, Your best bet is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And now, before we close up shop, on behalf of my mic mate Richard Losper, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera guru Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.